right, here we go. We've got a new episode, and Deb, we're joking not even 2 seconds ago that I'm going to have you introduce our guest because you said her name perfectly, and I know for a fact I'm going to mess it up. I mess up my own last name sometimes. So,
Yeah.
Deb, who do we have on the podcast today?
We have a digital creator and photography, excuse me. I can say her name, but I can't say photography.
We should split it up.
Enthusiast, I know. Yeah. We have Sarah Mrad on the show tonight. Maybe I said it better before we hit record, but Sarah Mrad. Did I say it right?
You said it right. As long as people could say it, it's fine. Just call me Sarah.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Well, hey, welcome to the show, Sarah. We appreciate you taking some time to chat with us.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always like to start the show off by letting people know how we're connected to our guests because it is called Connectable. And so just like with most of our guests, we're connected through social media, but more specifically, I was, and I still love, I broke it, but there's a product called Air Video, AER Video.
Yeah.
And basically it allows you to throw your GoPro. And I'm a huge GoPro fan. My brother and myself are huge GoPro fans. And so when I found out about this was quite a few years ago when they were doing the Kickstarter and all that, we jumped on board. And like I said, I've broken 3 or 4 of them. So they're well loved and well used. But you were actually I think the point of contact for us when we had questions or they wanted us to submit photos that we had taken. And so I had started following you on Instagram because of that. And then it's like, oh, she's taking awesome photos too. So it was just a fun follow for us to have. And then we continued to follow you on our podcast. And then it got to the point where it's like, we loved your content so much. It's like, you know what, we just need to have you on the podcast. So, and you were kind enough to say yes. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much how we're connected. So it's pretty cool. Social media connects you to anybody and everybody. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've come a long way.
Yeah. And I have to say too, if you're not watching the video, you have an awesome background. Like no disrespect to any of our guests, but not everybody has a cool background like you do. And look, you have the lights. You have a countdown. I'm not sure what the countdown means.
No, it's my clock. It's just a clock.
It's just a clock? I was feeling pressure.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Shit.
Oh no, you're fine. Now that I know what it is, we're good. I'm just like, what? I'm not sure what it's counting up to, but
I think it's
in trouble.
It's a nice vibe because it's the clock and the word chill, and then your lava lamp, which I dig, by the way. Lava lamp. It's a lava lamp, yeah.
It is. I've always wanted one as a kid, and I never had one. So I'm like, all right.
I haven't seen a lava lamp in such a long time or heard of a lava lamp in like decades. So I'm digging it. So I think that's why we're drawn to, I think, whatever's going on back there. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of the background. But anyways, that's enough of our nonsense. Sarah, we had you on the show for a reason. Tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, and like who is Sarah? Who is Sarah?
Sarah is just the name now. People just remember that your name has nothing to do with who you are. Okay, my name is Sarah. I was born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon. Spent my entire life there, went to school there, and I just recently moved to the United States in the fall, in September.
Wow.
Yeah, not knowing anybody, just packed a suitcase and my mom and our 2 cats and just booked a one-way ticket to start a new life. And from that, my photography journey has started in Lebanon, and it grew a lot there, but it was very amateur, and now I'm just trying to take it more seriously. But it's hard to do when you have a full-time job. You know, you still got to pay bills. And so, yeah, to me, it's still a hobby, and I try not to pressure myself to focus too much on the fine things. But yeah, so just born and raised in Beirut and recently moved to the States. I am half American, and I speak 2 languages, English and Arabic. And yeah, still planting my feet, still getting my feet wet here in the States. So don't really know that many people.
No.
That's interesting. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you just like September of 2022, like you just got here in the fall?
2021.
2021. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That's still really soon though.
I was gonna say, yeah, really soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's still like it doesn't feel that new. Like I feel like, all right, like I know my surroundings now and whatnot, but
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you just got here in 2021. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're still a newbie. Like, you're still fresh meat.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how long did it take for you? Like, have you been wanting to come to the States for a while? And then in 2021, you decided to do it? Or how long had the planning process been before you finally made the move?
I've always wanted to come and like get my college degree from the States. But my dad just wanted us to be in Lebanon and be closer to him. It's a very family oriented country over there. So I didn't come to college. I didn't go to college in the States. And then I moved to Phoenix actually in March 2020. So
Okay.
right before COVID hit. And that was like my chance to like, all right, like I'm making a move. Here's to starting a new life. Phoenix 2020, March. Complete fail because a week after I landed, everything was on lockdown.
Oh,
So yeah, I was stuck in Phoenix until airports opened up again and everything. So I went back to Lebanon because I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to meet new people or connect with anyone, or everything was still like pretty restricted back then. So I was like, all right, I'm just wasting my savings and my money right now. Now is not the right time. So I moved back to Lebanon for like a year. And then I was like, all right, here we go again. Let's try part two, like coming to America, part two.
yeah.
Hopefully this part works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, that's like that even gives me anxiety just to think about. I mean, that's such a big move, you know what I mean? And even some of the smaller decisions we have to make day to day, it's like, man, you just think about it, overthink it. But I mean, that's a huge move for you. And like honestly, I know like you can't tell everything from social media, but like you seem like a pretty adventurous person from just what we know of you and following you on Instagram. So, I mean, would you describe yourself as someone who is like a risk taker, adventurous, and was a move like this a big step for you? Was it really out of your comfort zone?
I was really excited for the move, so it was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I think that's the only way to grow, honestly. Like being in Beirut, being in Lebanon was like, all right, like I know my peeps are there. I know the neighborhoods. I know a lot of things there. So it's like, I'm comfortable. It was just really comfortable. So I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna do anything, like I need to remove myself from this bubble and put myself somewhere else and just grow personally and everything. So would I call it adventurous? My Instagram does look adventurous, but I'm not really like I don't go and hike every weekend. I
Sure.
don't travel every month, like okay, who has money for that?
Right.
I would love to.
Sure.
But um it was definitely a risk coming to the States in 2020, but then again, nobody really knew what was going to happen. Um so it was a big risk, and I did lose a lot of money, but I gained a lot out of it as well personally. I was like, I could do this. If things were just open, I can go and meet people. I could start something new. I could work on my creative skills more. I can network. But yeah. So it was a risk, but a good risk.
That's awesome.
Good. And then if you could take us back to in Lebanon, like how did you start? You started photography there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did you get into that, and like what inspired you to start doing that over there?
It all started on a trip with a group of friends to Cyprus. And it all started with a GoPro. I mean,
Nice.
she had a GoPro and she didn't really know how to use it. So I just took it from her and I was just like playing with all the buttons. Back then it was a GoPro Hero 5 and it was like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Wow, it's a touch screen.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a big deal.
Big deal, man. Hell yeah. So that GoPro really, like, I just borrowed it. Excuse my cat.
No.
You have a have a friend.
Oh, their little friend joining the show.
He's part of the story too.
Oh, perfect. He knew his cue.
If you guys aren't, yeah, if you guys aren't watching on YouTube, her cat just totally crawled onto the screen. It was cute.
Sorry, yeah. So it all started with a GoPro, and I just kept borrowing it from her, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna buy one. So I bought a GoPro 6, because I was waiting for the new ones to come out.
There's always that new one.
I just took off from there, really. Like, obviously, like GoPros don't have like aperture and all these things. You kind of just like point and shoot and go. But yeah, it all started with a GoPro, and the rest is history. Like, and I still have that GoPro with me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that comes everywhere with me.
So what do you use now to shoot?
I use a Sony A7 III now, like a major upgrade.
I was gonna say it sounds expensive. I don't know exactly what that is, but it sounds very expensive.
Yeah, it's a mirrorless camera, and I just bought it. I bought it in 2021 or 2020. Sorry, 2020. Yeah, I bought it 3 years ago. So for a long time, I was using a GoPro because I was like, I was convinced I didn't need the expensive equipment. But then I was like, I wanted to get a different look and feel to my style and my images, and that was only achievable through a mirrorless camera.
Sure.
So, but now I got both. So
yeah,
the best of both worlds. I took a photography class in high school, and I'm convinced that I'm not smart enough to use an actual camera because the apertures, all that stuff really confused me. I'm like, what is going? I felt like I was in math class. I'm like, I don't understand what I'm doing. And I did find the class, but it was, there was a clear difference, a clear gap between me and like the people who really knew what they were doing. So much respect to you and just understanding that whole world, because it really throws me for a loop.
It did for me. Like for the first year and a half, I did not know what I was doing with this camera. I was watching YouTube nonstop, and I was watching all these videos, but I was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. So I just literally, I got Tommy, I put him on the couch, and I tried every single switch and knob and just every button. I'm like, what does this do? What does this do? I put it all on the computer, and I was like, okay, now I know what each button does. I know what aperture does. I know what all of these, the shutter speed, I know what everything is now. So yeah, it just takes practice, a lot of it.
Yeah, which is like a sign that you're passionate about it, right? Like when you are willing to put in that much time and effort, it's like, oh, you're clearly passionate about this. Now, I do have to ask, does your cat Tommy, does he freak out every time he sees the camera now? Because like, oh no, not more pictures. Like,
oh no,
he loves it.
He's a peach. He will sleep for hours. He will not move. If you need to get the shot, you do you, Cricket. Like,
that's awesome.
He will not move. Yeah.
Well, you guys are like perfect partners then.
I know, yeah. Like, yeah. Tommy and Jerry.
See, there you go.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool that I feel like that's something I would do. Like, I'm reading instructions and I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. And then you just have to kind of go through it and work through it yourself. So I'm wondering if anyone listening can relate to that. But like, that's really cool. You could even figure out everything, that way too. Like Josh said, it's like, it just shows how passionate you are about trying to figure that out. And that's something, and it's something that you really like to do. How is it going for you here in the States with photography? How are you liking it?
Every weekend I try and plan a shoot, just with my friends. Some of them are great. Some of them I don't do so great. Like, we have a ton of fun. Because I don't really label it as like, all right, guys, we're doing a photo shoot. It's more like a hangout, and I turn it into a photo shoot.
Nice.
So they're like, okay, let's go to the pier for some coffee. I'm like, okay. And then they see me like with my camera. I'm like,
you're like, I'm just doing my thing. Ignore me.
Yeah, don't mind me.
Just look at me here. And sometimes they're really great shots. Other times, they're like, how did they turn out? I'm like, yeah, they turned out great. Like, they see them as like great shots. I'm like a self-critic. I'm like, these will never see the light of day again. Like, some are like blurry. Like, I'm still learning. Like, honestly, after 3 years of owning this camera, you never stop learning. And yeah, I get blurry photos too, out of focus sometimes. Absolutely. Overexposed. Hell yeah. Underexposed all the time.
Yeah.
Trial and error. So the photography journey at the moment is doing my best every weekend, shooting, trying different things, trying to shoot trying to shoot people, trying to shoot landscape, just to like see what I like. Um, and experiment with like indoor studio lighting, outdoor, overcast, just like a bunch of things, just so I know what do I like to shoot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I like it, it's funny, and I don't know if you caught this, Deb, but she was mentioning how you just do this when you go out with your friends and you're having fun. We actually, the last episode we did last week, we were talking about focusing on fun and how much of a benefit it is for your health, mentally, emotionally, physically, to have a focus on fun in your life. And so it's cool in your case where you're going out with friends, you're doing the things that you love, you're having fun with people that you love. But at the same time, you're also kind of fine tuning and honing the thing that you love, which is photography. So you get to do all of those things and it's all surrounded by fun. So that's pretty cool. Like, do you feel like when you're in those moments, like that's just like a good thing for your mentality, your health, all of that, when you're in that moment with your camera, with your friends? Like, do you just feel like that kind of fun is like when you're at your best?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more important to remember like to have fun with it. You know, don't feel too bad if the photos didn't turn out the way you wanted, because you know, you're just shooting it for fun with your friends. You know, they're not really styled to the T. You don't have a stylist or a makeup artist or any of that. You just kind of like, hey, we're at an arcade and I got my camera. I just so happened to bring my camera at an arcade.
Yeah.
And a flash. So let's see what we could do while we're waiting for our drinks.
There you go.
You know, so it's always important to have fun and see where it goes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering, Deb, if you were hanging out with Sarah and you were friends with Sarah, like would you always, if you knew she was hanging out with you guys, would you be like, okay, I gotta really step up my apparel today because my attire, because she has the camera, I have to be ready.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'm that stylish or anything, but I would definitely like would at least try to like clean up a little, like in term for me, like clean up. So, 100%. If I'm like, I have a friend
I
who
would too.
has a camera around, even if I have friends who always like to take selfies, I always try to be like, okay, I gotta make sure I wash my hair. You know, just gotta make sure I look decent. So, oh yeah, with the professional looking camera, oh man. And after a while, I'd probably be, depending on the day, I'd be like, no, I'm not coming out today.
Sarah's gonna be there.
Shower, I don't have time to, or I would like try to step out of the frame. No, but yeah, 100%. But that sounds like fun though, because
It does.
it's like less pressure, right?
Yeah.
It's like just be yourself, have fun, and sometimes those could be the best shots. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you could tell us more, Sarah, about that. But like just the can't, like it sounds like it's a candid type of photo shoot when it's like that.
Yeah, except when they do like keep talking a lot, then I get a lot of shots of them talking. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we just like be quiet for like 2 minutes?
Let me just get a couple of shots here.
Just 2 minutes, because with every shot they're like,
yeah, their mouth is moving.
like, guys, these aren't really like candid, nice shots. They're kind of just like you guys in motion.
Right.
But it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, my friends are really great. If I tell them like, hey, we're gonna try and shoot something properly, like they will go out of their way and like wave their hair or like put on blush that day, or you know, I tell them, you know, wear whatever you want, maybe with a little bit of oomph, like with a little bit of color, won't hurt you. But yeah, no,
That's awesome.
But I imagine, okay, so like just bouncing off of Josh's question about in a real life situation, if I would like it, I imagine you would make the pictures look stunning. So I also would be like, I'm not that worried, because And you just said that like you're like, no, I'm very picky about what pictures look good and I like, and so anyway, I don't know. I feel like if I were to hang out with you, I'd be like, it's okay, because I'm gonna look amazing if she's gonna put that out there, because it's gonna be an amazing picture. I don't know. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
hear you. I used to be picky back then.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, let me just see where it goes.
Yeah.
Honestly. Am I still picky? Sort of. Only because I just want to improve.
Yeah.
Because I just want to put my best work out there. Because I see like my Instagram as, it's more like my portfolio. I mean, that's how I got my last few jobs. And it is my portfolio, like not for like brands or anything, but it's like for companies to see like, okay, she could take great shots and she can edit and she can edit photo and video. Like, yeah, they're not skincare or they're not fashion related or anything, but she can do the job great. So yeah, I'm really harsh and I'm critical on myself. Like, aren't we all on our own work? So
yeah, I feel like once we've found something that we're really passionate about, I feel like that's when that sets in, right?
Yeah, because we really care about it. I still get nervous before every time I shoot something.
Yeah.
I still get hella nervous because we care about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you said that too, because we were obviously in doing our research, checking out some of your different photos and stuff like that. I did notice that in your Instagram bio, it says helping you find the confidence to start your creativity. And I thought it was interesting because, kind of what you just said, even now at this point that you've been doing it for a little while, you still get nervous when you do these shoots. And I imagine there's some people out there and probably people that you've connected with that are so nervous where they don't even want to pick up the camera because they're so anxious or so worried about what could happen. And it almost blocks them from unleashing the creativity that's within them because of fear. And so I thought that was a really cool quote or bio that you had there. So like, where did that come from? I imagine it came from somewhere. Was that through a conversation with someone else? Was it because of your own experience and how, you've battled with this balance between, confidence and creativity? Like, where did that line come from basically?
I still struggle with that line myself, like I'm still trying to tell myself every day, like, I'm a badass and I'm a creative badass. And today is going to be that day where my creative badass comes out, So it really just came from just looking at all of my content that I've been posting since 2018, 19. And reading my captions. I used to be way more confident back then. I guess because I didn't really care. Like I didn't know where it was gonna like go. And then I started getting thousands of likes and whatnot. So I was like, oh, wow, like, okay, should I focus on this more? But when I started really focusing on it, I started becoming more self-aware and shy and just overthinking everything. And so I came up with that line in my bio now because I really want to look back at the old Sarah and be like, she used to be a badass in 2019, 2020. So I'm trying to ignite that fire up everyone else's butt and be like, we're all a badass on the inside. We just need someone to like push through that wall. So yeah, of course, I still get nervous every time I record a tutorial or post a photo or a reel. I just post it and I'm just like, okay, let's time to go hide in the closet. I mean, we all feel cringy at some point, but if your friends support you and your family supports you and encourages you, I'm like, why not? I just think it's a never-ending learning curve and it's a self-discovery journey. And I found my self-discovery journey through photography. Still finding it. Correct. So I feel like no matter how long you've been in this game, there's always room for improvement and pushing boundaries, and we're all badasses on the inside.
Yeah.
You just drop the mic right there. I like it. Boom.
That was good.
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, it's how it's such a weird thing too. Like, because what you were saying is as the following increased, as the likes increase on your photos, then all of a sudden the confidence goes down. And it's such a
Yeah.
weird thing because we all crave, like obviously, for us, we love when we get one of our videos or clips of our podcast, goes crazy. It hasn't happened for a long time, but like we love that. Like it's fun to see. But it is interesting, like just the mental game that it plays with you when you start to achieve that, and it can affect you in negative waves too, even though it is the thing that you want so badly. And so hearing someone say it like you just did is pretty fascinating, because obviously your work is amazing, but yet because you saw the increased amount of views, you became more self-conscious, and then it affected your own mental state, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think it definitely affected my self-conscious in like 2020 when COVID hit. Everything was closed, and I was like, well, dang, I usually take all of my photos outside. So everything was closed, and I just kind of closed myself off, and I took a very, very first photo indoor, my very first self-portrait with my new camera, um, in my apartment in Phoenix. And I did like little hikes here and there whenever we could, but I was posting way less in 2020. Like 2019 was like the highest time, like the most times I've ever posted and shared, and I was on Instagram stories, like I was all out. I was balling.
Yeah.
And then 2020 came, I just kind of went into my cocoon, slowed down my posting. Like I think we were all just really taking in what COVID was and how it's going to affect us. And then 2021, I was like, I don't know. I don't like, Sarah just came out of the cave, like out of the blue. Like, where has she been?
Yeah.
Um, and so like now I'm starting to like trickle back into that wave.
Yeah.
But yeah, so much has changed since 2019, and algorithms and reels and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. It's like it would be nice if you could just put the pictures out there, put the videos out there, and then it just is what it is. But there's so much you have to consider when you put out content.
Yeah.
So it's wild. That's why sometimes it's not fun. Like you want it to be fun, but there's times where it's just more of a headache than anything.
Honestly, like it used to be a photo sharing app. Like what happened to that?
Right.
I love videos, don't get me wrong. I love reels. But it used to be like photo sharing apps and carousels, and you just share a photo, you write and like a caption, either a really funny one or whatever it is to you, like a meaningful one, and people would actually read it
Yeah.
sometimes.
Right. Right.
And comment and like it or share it or whatever. And then reels came into the picture. I'm like, okay, fine. But now it's just like it's all about reels. And I'm like, well, and then they're like, the algorithm, you only have 6 seconds to grab people's attention. And I'm like, whatever happened to just the joy of just
Right.
freezing a moment in time
Yeah.
called a photograph? Whatever happened to storytelling through just a still image? It's all just really fast now,
Yeah.
and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you. That's all I'm gonna say. I agree with you.
Yeah. TikTok and everything. Like we're becoming a generation more and more of like, I teach high school teenagers. So they need, if I don't get their attention in the first 5 seconds,
They're gone.
oh, they're like so gone. They're like, we're not even listening. This is so boring. Yeah, it's definitely a different generation. But I mean, and I'm not proud to say that, like sometimes I'm like same thing, like I'll be scrolling on TikTok or just through social media and same thing. So I don't know if it's just the evolution of social media, that it's just the reels just kind of, if it's not attention grabbing, then you just go to the next one. But I'm also another, I'm appreciative of the iconic still picture. So it's definitely an art form that I think a lot of people do still appreciate it. It's just sticking with, those people and that audience. But yeah, unfortunately, the, social media these days, it's like, not interesting in the first 5 seconds. And it's like, what does that even mean? Like, it's super subjective too. So I understand your frustration for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I like to turn to social media if I'm searching for something specifically. Because that's just how it's working now. Like I just search I don't know. I'm looking for an outfit, like red suit, for example. Just go to TikTok and it'll show you every red suit you could think of from different stores. And TikTok, I do scroll on it because to me it's like TikTok is more, I feel like it's more authentic and raw than Instagram. Instagram is very curated, 100%. So when I'm feeling like, I want to see what other photographers and filmmakers are doing out there. I want to see like a new color grade. I want to see a new, I don't know, storyboard. I go to Instagram, I scroll. I'm like, okay, I love that shot. And the surfer in the water, But if I'm on TikTok, it's more like cat TikToks and just these random funny ones and shopping and just the most random things. Like the algorithms are so different. But yeah, they're just both really fast. When I see a really fast video on either platforms, I'm like, no, like my brain cannot process like that. I need to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So let me ask you this, kind of changing the direction a little bit. Is there, and I'm sure you have a couple of these places, but where are some of the places that are like on your bucket list of locations to shoot, or like some of the dream places that you would love to go one day to do some photography? Where are some of those places?
I'd really like to go to Japan.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Like honeymoon goals, please.
Yeah.
Japan, definitely number one for sure. Specifically Tokyo. And
nice.
Anywhere in Japan, I'll just go anywhere.
Yeah.
The Philippines would be stunning.
Nice.
And I really want to go to this. I know this is cheesy, but I really want to go to the Salt Lake Flats. Where are they, in Utah?
Or Death so, right? Valley?
Yeah. Salt Lake.
Somewhere really bare,
Yeah.
And dry. So complete opposites.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. So when you think like those three places, when you think about those places, like from your photographer's eye and your photographer's mind, like do you like almost have like a ideal or an idea what that shoot would be like, or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. Tokyo, Japan would definitely be a street style.
Yeah.
A neon vibe. I'd
Sure.
like to take photos like at blue hour, like just when it's dark but not too dark.
Sure.
Really like to get those bright neons and just a really pop color of like I don't know, like a yellow rain jacket, like head to toe.
Nice.
Just really, I don't know. Philippines, I haven't thought of that, but I thought about Tokyo.
I can tell.
The Salt Lake one, I'd want to do something really something really out of this world, like not extraterrestrial, but like nothing with like any weird headpieces or anything, more like reflective pants or like an astronaut kind of pants, like reflective material. And like a bralette, like just weird, I don't know.
We'll see. That's interesting. I go to places with my GoPro. I'm like, I hope I get something cool. Like that's literally the amount of planning I do. And you're like, you can envision everything. That's pretty cool. See, we have different eyes.
I won't do it. Like I'll probably go to the Salt Lake Flats. I'll be like, okay, I need a model.
Yeah.
I need the outfit, and I got none. So I'm sitting here with myself, and my tripod, in my denim. So great.
If you ever need help, you can invite me. I'll come with you.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'll be like,
Well, you're just inviting yourself? What?
I'm just inviting myself. Yeah.
like Deborah, bring the gals.
Yes,
Bring some reflective pants.
I will.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this. Let me put you on the spot a little bit as far as your creativity. So Deb loves mermaids. And so mermaids have like the reflective tail and stuff like that. Like, what would you do if she was wearing a mermaid tail? What would you do with that?
Whoa.
Do you see her eyes? Yes, yeah, excited she got.
I know. She's like, whoa. Or she's like, that's crazy. I don't know.
I mean, does it have to be a tail?
That's well, I try to discourage her every week on the podcast, but she's pretty set on the tail thing.
Okay,
Can
how about this?
Can it be like reflective, like like the duochrome? We could put like, that what is that? What is that material called? I have it here. It's like that duochrome that changes color when the sun reflects it. It's like you could get like a sheet and just like put it on top of yourself, maybe some reflective makeup.
Ooh. So like
or
just
like mirrors on your eyes and your face. Like, I don't know.
That's mermaid theme. That's mermaidy. Yeah.
So
See,
not
this would be a good match.
Don't draw scales on yourself.
Oh, well, that's disappointing.
Make it 3D.
Yeah, I totally trust Sarah with that vision. So yeah.
That's not bad. She seems pretty excited, Sarah. Yeah.
Don't bring the mermaid pill.
She said,
thank you. Hey,
no mermaid pill. Well, you know what? Because
say that one more time, Sarah. What'd you say? You said
don't bring the mermaid tail.
But that makes sense. No, that wasn't my idea, Josh. That was your idea. No, because
we know
it's very typical. Sarah's idea is way more creative and way more like intuitive. Realistic. Yeah. No, it's just I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm just a normal non-photographer photographer, citizen, and I would not have thought of what she just said. That's why she's visionary.
Or like get a makeup artist to get like seaweed and like have her like do like hair seaweed like over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Look at all of her ideas. This is great.
We have some ideas. There we go.
Write it down.
I love it. Write it down. Yes. Even if it's not me, I would love if you did a mermaid theme,
Oh my God.
hotel, like whatever. That would be so great.
Yeah, just tag us in the post and just say, hey, this idea was inspired by Connectable Podcast. That's all we ask. Deb doesn't have to be involved. Yeah.
We have it. We have all the ideas from Japan, from what did we say? The Salt Lake Flats and the mermaid idea.
So where would you want to do the mermaid theme one? Do you have it like if you could think of somewhere? I mean, in my mind, it would be like by the water, but I don't know where or whatnot.
I would
background pool.
I would actually put it in like a desert.
See?
I would put like maybe like I would get like those really big tubs of like clear, those clear, transparent, like large rectangular tubs.
Mm-hmm.
Fill it with water.
What? See? Like, I want to see this. I want to see this come to life now.
It's like a mermaid, but like in the desert, like the contrast of.
I love it. Well, like I could totally tell you were made for this, just because that is just. It's not something like I'm just a typical like I see on Instagram, like people with their mermaid tails in pools or in the water or like in the ocean and something, and then your idea just now. But like picturing it, it's like that sounds hella cool. You know what I'm saying? So like it's just different, and that's an amazing thing to bring to the table. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. We just need a team. Let's build a team.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you guys have fun with that. I'm just gonna stay here. So, hey, since in a sense, we kind of inspired this idea, like, where do you normally get inspiration from? Like, is it just from social media? Do you just get out in the world and see different things? I know some people, exercise, they run, they cycle, they swim, they box, whatever it may be. That inspiration, that creativity kind of stems from somewhere. Where do you feel like that all that creativity comes from for you, that inspiration?
That's a good question. I definitely don't rely on social media for inspiration. That
Okay.
is the last place. That is the last place. Um, I always go to, I like to take walks. I don't run. I don't do cardio.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
I like to take walks, but I think the biggest inspiration for me is music.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I would listen to different types of music, whether it's like really old. I really love the 80s and the 90s music of every genre. So I would think of that, or like I would like to go back to the 80s and 90s music, or I would like go to like to cyberpunk 2150 kind of music and
Yeah.
just see what that kind of ignites. Also, when I'm watching movies, so music and movies really give me inspiration.
Nice.
Because music and just the way that they tell a story just through one shot, like when they do like one shots and zero cuts, and I'm like, I'm telling everybody, I'm like, look, one shot. This is one shot, you guys. Like this is amazing. Yeah, you have any idea how many times they had to repeat this to get this one shot?
That's
Um,
crazy.
so yeah, movies and music.
Nice.
Mhm.
Speaking of the one shot, I've mentioned, I feel like I've mentioned this on this podcast before to someone, but there's the band OK Go. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you about their music, but their music videos are incredible. And they actually did a one shot. You know, I can't even describe their music videos, but like they're so insanely creative. It's wild. But like, yeah, they did a one shot video a while ago. That was actually the first time I kind of became aware of how creative their videos were. I think the one they're really well known for is, it was a long time ago, but it was, they were on treadmills. There's four members of the band and they would kind of hop around on different treadmills. Like I think that was one of their more famous videos from a while ago. But yeah, I mean, they shot one that was, I think they shot something in 4 seconds and then they slowed it down to 4 minutes.
Wow.
And then everything that happened within that 4 seconds, you see everything. And it's wild. So I would definitely check out, if you want some inspiration, check out OK Go's YouTube page. It's pretty crazy.
I wrote it down. It's called OK Go music video. What is it called?
Yeah, OK Go. That's the name of the band. And like I said, I think they had one. I mean, like I said, it's funny. I can't even tell you their songs, but I just know their videos are amazing.
Well, if you basically they accomplished what they wanted. The fact
Exactly.
that the fact that you remembered that from one of their music videos, OK Go, and you at least remembered the name of the band and you
Right.
remembered that specific video.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Like you said, mission accomplished for sure. They got me. It inspired me. And like, I'm not even creative like you, but I'm like, this is cool. I want to do something creative.
That would be awesome. I don't know how feasible that would be, but
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
great. Team effort. But yeah, I would
For
love to
sure.
see it. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, what I just thought of this because sometimes, I mean, what for you keeps your creative, I guess, juices flowing? Because sometimes it, you know, okay, so like for example, like I used to write a lot. I haven't in a while. It's just life is busy and I'm my jobs and stuff, but I wish I had more time. And then I'm like, well, do you, or are you just kind of on a break from writing, whatever? So,
Mm-mm.
and I've been like in and out of it, and sometimes I get in a rut. So like for you, do you ever find yourself like, I'm in a rut, I need to take a break? Or are you just like, no, I love this and I'm obsessed with it? So like, are you on a daily, like, doing things yeah, like what does that look like for you, I guess? Because sometimes with me, I go in and out of what my passions are and what I'm creative with. I mean, that could just be me and my personality, but it's great to find something I think that you're really passionate about and you just kind of keep sticking with it. So how does that work for you with your creative process?
I definitely, you know, um, not creative every single day of the week or like for a whole month straight. You got to take a break. I personally, if I'm in a creative rut or I feel stuck or uninspired or like even unmotivated at times, I'm just like, I'm just gonna take a break. I'm not gonna touch my camera for a few days, a week, sometimes 2 weeks. It'll go, and just reel it back. I do write a journal. I've been writing it since 2021, so 2 years now. And when I'm in a creative rut, I just go back to journaling. Like, why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling and why? Could there be a reason, or is it just because I'm just unmotivated right now, or I don't know, just life happens. Too much work. Am I too tired? Am I making too many excuses? I don't have kids. Like, what is my excuse? So I try to push myself through writing and going outdoors more, like going more on walks, whether that's literally around the block or taking a longer walk, like a short trail. But yeah, I definitely think it's healthy to step back and come back to why you started it in the beginning. And the last thing you want to do is resort to your phone and social media, because that's just going to make you feel even worse. And I've been through that, like time and time again. If I'm in a creative rut, or like if I'm feeling demotivated, you pick up your phone, check your messages. What's the next app you go to? It's a social media app. So maybe just remove them from your home screen. I know it's hard, but that's the last place you want to resort to. Yeah. Writing, play music. You'd be surprised how much music really helps your mood, honestly. Yeah. I like to cook, so just doing the basic things in life. And then I'll get inspired again, and I'll just write I write my ideas down on sticky notes, like, and I'll just stick them, and I'll develop them more. Like if I get an idea, just sticky note it and just let it rest.
That's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like even if you fall out of your creative, juice with photography, you're still doing things that you are passionate about, like you said, like cooking, and you mentioned going on walks earlier, and just so you're still like
yoga a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of yoga.
Yeah, you're still doing things like, yeah, and don't beat yourself up about the kid thing. I tell Josh this all the time. I'm like, I don't have kids, and I don't want to do, like, sometimes I'm just like,
I am a kid.
I need a break. I'm like, I don't have kids.
I need a break from life. Yeah. Just for like 2-3 weeks. I need a break from work and emails and basically everything, and just go to like an island and just have nothing but a beach and a hammock.
Yeah.
Notebooks, maybe a Bluetooth speaker would be great, just some mojitos maybe.
That sounds great. I was gonna say a margarita.
Smoothies. And
just
Tommy.
Keep it simple. And Tommy. Well, it sounds like Tommy's built for that life too, especially the hammock. Imagine he just chills in the hammock the whole time.
Did you get Tommy here in the States?
No, I brought him with me from Lebanon.
You did?
Nice. Oh, twice.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
He's
awesome.
Just sleeping on his back now, just like.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's just chill. He's just relaxed. It's your sign, right? The chill sign behind you. It's like he's just embodies that, it sounds like.
He's embodying the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I keep kind of skipping this question I had for you, but I want to make sure I get to it. So obviously you mentioned a couple of times that you do the like tutorials online, right? Like you kind of give some breakdowns of photography and some different elements of photography. What's been the response to that? Like, have people been reaching out to you and saying, hey, this is what I needed. Thank you so much. Like, I imagine that's helping a ton of people, because the videos are cool to watch. They're very, like, the way you present it, the information, you keep it really simple so that anybody can understand it. And I'm sure it's really helpful, but like, what's the response been from people that have seen your videos and your tutorials?
It's been a great response so far. I'm actually surprised by the ones that actually were shared and saved more than others. I'm like, okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I see a lot of shares and saves more than the comments that I get are like they're usually just encouraging comments, like
Sure.
really love this stuff, keep going, love what you're doing. I get DMs here and there, like asking me like a further question, like, hey, how do you access this in your camera and whatnot? Like I'll answer that. I'll answer those DMs and stuff. The response has been great, honestly. Like, I don't know why I beat myself up too much about it, because I never received a bad comment, like, ever. And I'm just waiting for that one to come, because everyone gets one eventually. But I'm just like, I know it's coming. I don't know when, but it happens to everybody. But I haven't received a bad comment so far, and I don't know, I'm just too harsh on myself. But the feedback on the tutorials have been great.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to like compress all the information into like 20 seconds or less. And it's
that's great.
so hard to do that in 20 seconds. So I'm like, all right, I guess it's gonna be 3 videos.
Yeah.
Instead of 1. Yeah.
That's why we do a podcast instead of those short videos, because we need a whole hour to get our thoughts across. So yeah, podcast is a little better for us.
I enjoy podcasts, honestly. Like, they're much more chill, and you get to see the personality way more in a podcast than you do in a reel or in a TikTok. You're gonna need like 100 reels of tutorials to get to know your personality, just 1%,
Sure. That makes sense.
I love listening to a long podcast, and it's almost like it lasts longer because I just listen to it in my car. So I listen to it in chunks, or when I put my AirPods in when I'm out and about. And so it's not like I'm sitting there for, like, I've talked to Josh and I have talked about this when people are like, I'm not a podcast listener, and I'll say, hey, you should listen to this episode. And they'll be like, well, how long is it? And I'm like, I don't know, it's like an hour and 45 minutes. Like, that's too long. I'm like, you don't have to listen to it all at once. Like,
nobody like, unless it's like a 30-minute episode, you listen to it maybe in one car ride, right. But if it's an hour, like, I listen to an episode of a podcast, it's an hour long, half an hour to work, half an hour back. Like, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. But it's almost like when I turn my car on and it pops back up, I'm like, oh yeah, I was listening to that. Oh, okay, there's more. It's almost like a book that never ends. So like,
I gotta rewind 20 seconds to remember what point we were on.
Yeah, exactly.
What part of the story?
Yeah. Oh, I love a good episode. And when it's a long episode and it like lasts longer, because I know I'm only going to be in my car for 10 minutes and then I got to wait till the next time I'm back in my car. Anyway.
It's like a nice surprise every time.
Nice surprise. I love it. I look forward to it on my drive home from work. It's good.
That's awesome.
What are your Sarah, what are your next steps, I guess? Like, what's something that you can or want to share with us and our listeners right now, and what you're working on right now or in the future?
What I'm working on right now is, honestly, I'm self-reflecting I'm working on myself.
Good.
Working on myself personally, my mind, my mental health. And I'm really trying to I'm working, like, this weekend I have a shoot up in the tulip fields. So really working towards more stylized shoots and sharing them if I have the guts to, and not be too critical. But so working on more stylized shoots, absolutely. And hopefully one day just really move from my 9 to 5 to being a full-time photographer. Everyone wants to be their own boss, and my dream is to, like a lot of people, I just want to be my own boss. So it's great.
That's awesome.
Great. Love it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I appreciate the fact that, someone, in your position who wants to be their own boss and who wants to continuously improve their craft could just get into this grind mode, right? You just keep hustling, 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 and you don't take the time to work on yourself, like you said. And so, and then down the road, when you start having some issues and problems start occurring, it's like, oh, I should have taken some time to breathe and work on myself. So I appreciate the fact that you're doing that right now, when it could be so easy just to keep pushing forward to perfect what you're doing. So yeah, I appreciate that you said that.
I think it's important to really work on yourself and reflect on why you do what you do. And because people don't buy into, everyone has, like, if we're talking about photographers, a lot of people have pretty photos. It's not about pretty photos anymore. A lot of people can shoot pretty photos and great videos and cinematic videos and whatnot, but people buy why you do it,
Sure.
So I'm just trying to figure out, like, my personal why, not just in photography, like in life. Everyone has to have a why to do the things that they do every single day. Like, what is your core motive to your behavior? So I'm working on that. Excuse me. Oh my God. Oh my God, Tommy. So I'm just working on that. And I think it's just really important to work on your why before you dive into the grinding and the business mindset, because you could build your business model around that. Instead of going forward and then being like, oh, you know what, that doesn't work anymore. I don't have a purpose. Like, my business doesn't have a why. It's just like, oh, pretty photos, like, book here. I want to offer an experience and much more with that, not just a package of photos.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like, honestly, I don't know about you, Deb, I feel like it's a pretty good place to wrap this thing up, because we want to be respectful of your time, Sarah, because I'm sure you have other things that you would rather do, like hang out with Tommy or other important work you have than talking to the two of us.
I really appreciate it, you
and
guys.
I think that's just a nice way to put a bow on this episode. Unless, Deb, you have something else you want to ask before we get out of here.
No, I was just going to say that, no, that was perfect, just because I'm sure there are people who are listening right now who are wanting to, like you said, be your own boss, whether that be get into photography like yourself or whatever the case is, whatever their dream is. I think that's just, you just keep going and keep, working hard and working on yourself, like you said. And so I think that was perfect. Well said. And I think that was a great place to end, because there's a lot of people out there who, like, are maybe too scared to, like, follow and do what they want to do and take the risk. Or Josh has talked about on episodes in the past, like, sometimes you have to, like, put in work and sacrifice, some things now to, get to where you want to be. And so, and there's a balance to that too. So anyway, I mean, I love jamming out on this topic. I can go on and on, but I think you wrapped it up very nicely. Yeah.
Thank you. You just have to remember, like, your unique perspective is your greatest asset. So never let any fear or doubt hold you back. Just embrace the journey, unleash your creativity, and just have fun with it.
Love it.
Boom. I love it. Go check out our last episode about fun. That's a good endorsement right there. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, obviously we've talked a lot about your Instagram and your photos. If people wanted to check it out for themselves, where can they follow you? Websites, all social media stuff, where can they follow you?
They could follow me on Sarah Ash Mrad on Instagram. So it's SarahAshMrad. So the Ash is short for Ashley. So it's Sarah Mrad was taken, man.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and Sarah Ashley too. So I'm like, all right. So it's got to be like my first name, half of my second name, and my last name.
There you go.
Sarah Ash Mrad.
Had to get creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely, you guys make sure you guys go follow her, because obviously we had her on the podcast for a reason. Is because despite what she may think, her work is awesome, And it's really cool, and it is inspiring, and it's fun to kind of follow the different places you go and the different perspectives that you have. So definitely go follow Sarah on Instagram if you have it, and you will not be disappointed. And if you're into photography, she has some really helpful tutorials on there as well to help you get better. So you really can't lose. This is a win-win. So
Oh yeah, let's be friends. We could be friends too.
so
Yeah.
there you go. And if you want another friend, she'll offer that as well. So photography advice, cool
Okay.
pictures, and friendship. What's better than that? So
Most of all, friendship.
there you go. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us and kind of share your insight and experience with us. We definitely appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing all the dope stuff you have coming out in the near future.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys having me. I'm really excited to see where your podcast goes. And yeah.
We
absolutely.
are too. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Absolutely. Take care.
All right.
Thanks for watching the show. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you like it, share it, and hit the subscribe button to get a new episode every week. We'll see you next time on the Connectable podcast.